Once upon a time, there was a young farm boy who lived in a village. His name was George. Though he was working hard, he was as poor as a church mouse. In the same village lived a rich farmer. His only daughter was a beautiful girl. Her name was Doris, and George loved Doris. And Doris loved him, and they wanted to marry. But the rich farmer said, "George, you are a well-mannered young man. Yet I will not allow you to marry my daughter, because you are much too poor. She will marry a rich farmer's son, so we will even have more money." Knowing this, George felt very sad. He walked away and sat on the roadside with his head down. Soon, a little hunchback man came along, carrying a big basket of firewood. George had a good heart and said to the little man, "This basket is much too heavy for you. Let me carry it for you." "This is very kind of you," said the man. "My little house is not very far from here. But tell me, why do you look so sad?" George answered, "I must be sad, for I love Doris and she loves me. But her father will not allow us to marry because I am so poor." So it is in this world. Some people have too much money and others have very little. But maybe I can help you. Really, the little man was a wizard, but though he was kind, he liked to tease people. "I will give you a little round stone. When you visit Doris next time, then wait for the evening. Then put the stone into the fireplace of the farmhouse. Then you will see what happens." When it became dark, he secretly laid the stone into the stove of the rich farmer's house, as the little man told him to do. On the next morning, the maid wanted to start the fire. She poked into the ashes with a stick and added new wood, but the fire would not burn, so she bent down to blow on it. But as soon as she curled her lips and blew, she called,
"FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU! FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU!" And this was all she could say and do.
Doris ran into the kitchen. "Why are you screaming so loudly?" she asked. But the maid only pointed to the fireplace, making anxious eyes, and cried, "FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU! FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU!" "Ah, the fire does not want to burn," Doris said. "Do not cry so much, and don't be so clumsy. I will get it to work for you right now." She moved her lips to blow the fire, but in the same moment she started crying, "FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU! FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU!" And because she could not say anything else, she could not get the fire to burn. Both ran around the kitchen crying, "FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU! FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU!" The noise attracted the farmer's wife. When she saw both girls jumping up and down in the kitchen, she became very angry and yelled, "You stupid girls! Don't you have any brains? You can't even light a fire. Is it such a big thing that you have to make such a noise? I will show you how to do it." And she went to the fireplace, moved the ashes around, bent down, curled her lips to blow, but oh my, all she could say was, "FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU! FIDI-WAU-WAU-WAU!" and danced about the kitchen. This noise awakened the farmer. He came into the kitchen and asked angrily whether all three of them became foolish. This caused the women to scream even louder, "Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU! Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU!" and point to the fireplace. "Ah, this is it," he said. "Silly women, they can't even light a fire. A man has to show them how to do it." So he bent down, stirred ashes and wood, but as soon as he moved his lips to blow the fire, he also screamed,
"Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU! Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU!" And this was all he could say. Everybody called, "Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU! Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU!" clapped their hands and jumped around the kitchen.
Outside the farmhouse, the preacher of the church happened to be passing by. He was on his way to preach. What unchristian sound is this? He walked into the farmhouse and saw all four of them jumping around in the kitchen, pointing to the fireplace, screaming, "Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU! Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU!" This must have something to do with witchcraft, he thought. "I must pray." And he opened his Bible to speak a prayer over the stove. The first and only words he could say were, "Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU! Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU!" He did not know what to do, so he stood there, shaking his head, and everybody kept on saying, "Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU!
Fidi-WAU-WAU-WAU!
They all made a terrible noise. When George heard this, he thought, what happened? He went to the rich farmer's house and saw them all dancing in the kitchen and pointing to the fire. He thought to himself, "This can only be the deed of the little hunchback man who told me to put the round stone into the stove." He walked to the fireplace and removed the stone. In the same moment, the spell was broken, and everybody could talk normal. All were very happy and hugged each other for joy and relief. The rich farmer was so glad that George had freed all of them from the spell that he allowed George to marry his daughter Doris. And the preacher could speak his prayers again and bless them.